So what we discussed in the last class?
Record trigger flow
Sorry?
and the flow limits. Record trigger flow and flow limits.
Okay. So we will see today new business scenario. Okay. So the business scenario is last week. So we have a contact record, right? Instead of last week, let's assume that any contact that does not have account lookup, does not have data in account lookup, then fill up with dummy account. Okay. So what is the business scenario? Let's go to the UI, Salesforce. Service app. In the service cloud, so we have a account and contact object. So whoever the contact that does not have the account information, whoever the account that does not have the account information, then we have to fill up with some dummy account. We have to fill up with some dummy account. We have some 9 records. This is the business scenario. So loop through the each one and identify whether it is having the account name or not. If it is not there, update with the dummy account. Right? Update with the dummy account. What is the high level requirement here?
Update a record with a dummy account if the contact does not have the account name.
Update
The contact record with a dummy account.
Record
with a dummy account.
With dummy account. So this is the high level. Now coming to the micro level. Coming to the micro level requirement.
Identify object.
You have to identify which object are we working on it. Which objects are we working on? Especially main object is contact. And also sometimes we need account object.
Account.
Okay. Next thing. What do we need to identify?
Look out for the mandatory fields.
Mandatory fields. What are the
mandatory fields?
Mandatory fields in contact as well as in the account. Okay. Next.
Type of flow, a record trigger flow.
Why record triggered flow?
Because it's checking for the it's checking in the record if there is a value in one of the field and it is updating it. So it's based on the record only.
Why record triggered flow? We are not updating anything on the contact. This was already there. We are trying to update. Developers are trying to update a existing contact where there is a no account name.
Okay. So schedule trigger.
Why schedule trigger?
Because those contacts would have been created earlier itself. It's an existing contact.
Okay. Others, which trigger, which flow do we have to go? Akhil, Puneet, Raj, Shweta, Venkatesh, which flow do we have to go for this scenario? Read the requirement clearly and then tell me. Which flow do we have to go? Which flow? Shweta?
Is it record trigger, ma'am?
Why it is record trigger?
Because we have to identify like which records are not yet updated. So, I mean, like once we identify at the record level.
So as you are saying that we have to identify the contacts which does not have account. Which does not have account. So what is the record triggered flow? What is the record triggered flow? When it will fire, first of all, when it will fire the record triggered flow? When it will fire the record triggered flow? What is the event when it will fire? Evaluation criteria.
While creating
Creating.
Creating or updating. Or
deleting,
updating.
Updating. Are we doing creating, updating here in this business?
No, only updating. Only updating you're doing.
Where are we doing? We are not updating
They are
it.
not updating, yeah.
I'm not touching the contact record at all. Any contact that does not have a data in the account, look up, then fill up the dummy account. That means update the contact record with the dummy account. I'm doing the update from the flow. But does user does it here?
It's a auto launch. Is it auto launched flow? Because it automatically does the update.
No. Raj, which one do we have to go?
loop one.
Sorry. Why loop is coming here? We are not yet decided the flow. We are going much further. So let's go to the Salesforce setup. Let's go to the flows. Click on new flow. Okay, so these are there. Is it a screen flow? No, it's not a screen flow, right?
Yeah.
It's not a
No,
screen
no
flow.
screen flow.
Is it a platform event flow? No.
No.
So we are confused between the schedule trigger, auto launch triggered, record triggered flow. Now coming to the record triggered flow, in this business scenario, we are not doing the create or update. So record trigger flow is out of our, it is out. We should not be using the record triggered flow in our scenario. Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now auto launch flow. Auto launch flow. When it will happen, the auto launch flow here, somebody has to call. Who is that somebody? Process builder or Apex or REST API or somebody from the outside. This flow has to be called. Now, we are not doing any Apex. We are not doing any process builder. We are not doing anything. We are simply writing the flow. So auto launch also go out. So next one is schedule trigger. We have to identify the existing contact. We have to identify the existing contact. How many existing contacts does not have a data in the account lookup? That means I have to schedule something in order to execute my logic. I have to schedule something in order to execute some logic. So what I'll do? I'll go with the schedule trigger. So here type of flow is schedule trigger. What is the rule criteria?
If the contact does not have an account name, account lookup field.
On the contact dot account ID
Not equal to null. Oh, sorry.
Why not
Equal to null. Yeah. Yeah, it's equal to null. It's checking if it is empty, then.
If it is equal to null, then we are going to schedule the trigger. Now this is fine. Okay. Now once we have done, this is the, as we select the schedule trigger, this is what we are going to give. Now next component, which one do I need to use? Now I have scheduled it. After scheduled, which component do I have to use it?
Update record.
Update record. Okay. Before update, is there anything that we have to do? Update which record? Contact record.
Contact record.
Okay. So
Loop
update,
through the contacts. Loop through the contacts.
loop through the contact. Okay. Anything before this loop? When you are updating the contact, okay. The thing is that
Get the record.
Sorry.
Get records.
Records.
Get records. Get which records?
Contact.
Contact records.
Contact records. Okay. Now here we have to update the dummy account. So how we will get the dummy account? How we will get dummy account? It's not in the system. Dummy account is not in the system.
Create.
Dummy account is not in the system. So we have to create an account so that when we are updating here, we will be having the dummy account ID. We will be having the dummy account ID.
Account ID.
We will be having the dummy account ID. So first one is schedule trigger, get contact records, then create an account, Then loop through the each contact. After looping through the each contact, update the ID to the contact. Now here, one more thing we can do it. What we can do is we can post the charter. We have a charter, right, in the Salesforce. So I can post it. That is optional. Post in the charter. And this is the micro level. Now let's go to the flow. Schedule trigger. Yes, tell me, schedule trigger, what I have to do.
Choose object.
So first set schedule. When do I want it to run? Let's say that from tomorrow onwards. Let me give on 14th onwards. Set time, morning, exact 12 a.m. Let's put it. How do we want to run it? Once, daily, weekly. So let's put it weekly. Every week, 12 a.m. I wanted to execute it. Now let's click on done. Now we have to choose the object. Now which object are we interested right now? Which object are
Contact.
we?
Contact.
Contact. Object is contact. And what is the criteria here?
Contact.account ID is null.
ID equal to
Null.
empty string. Null is nothing but empty string, which we can use it with the global variable. Universal table, we have a global constant empty string. If it is equal to empty or null, then we are going to use that object, that record. Now we are set with the scheduled trigger flow. Now let's go ahead and add get records.
Yes, records.
Get records. Which records do we wanted to get? Contact records we wanted to get.
Contact.
Object is
Contact.
And what is our criteria? Account ID equals to
Null.
string. Now get record is done. Next, we have to create
Dummy account.
contact record. Are you guys with me or not? Do I need to repeat it? Do you want me to repeat it? So let's say this is, we are getting the contact records. So let's say get contact records. So far, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm getting the contact records. Once we get the contact records, next step is that I have to create a account. I have to create a account, which is dummy account. Now let me go to the Salesforce account. Let's click on new. What are the mandatory fields that I have? Account name. Okay, that's good. We have only one thing, which is a name is mandatory. Rest all are fine. So what I'll do, I'll go to the flow filter. Okay, one more thing we have to check here. We have selected, when we are getting the records, we have selected only the first record. Am I interested only the first record, or am I interested in all the records?
All the records.
all the records. Then automatically store all values. Automatically store all the values. Let's go ahead and create a record. Account. Now, how many records that we are creating right now? Only one record that we are creating,
One.
which is dummy account. How many records to create it? One or multiple? Do we
Only
have
one
any
account.
others? How many records do we have to create it? One or multiple account?
Multiple.
Why multiple?
Because if are the contacts with are not having connected lookup with account. So one account, how could we say it may be more than one also?
Can I not link one account to the multiple contact? Do I need to create a multiple? Like I have here one tech
No.
girl.
No,
Here Tom also
Account.
has a one tech. Amala is also has a one tech.
only one.
Yeah. Account we can create only. We can link with the multiple contacts.
Multiple or one?
How
One.
to set the
One.
record fit?
Okay. So we have to create a one record because right now we need only one account record which needed to link to the all the contact. The requirement is updating one account, which is a dummy account. Update all the contact with dummy account, one single dummy account. And then use all values from the record. Do I really need using the all records? No, right? We just need a separate name. So what are the data that I need to use it? I need to use it.
Account name.
Name is mandatory. If I go to the account, only the name is mandatory. Only name is mandatory. So I simply choose name. Name. So name equals to, what is the value that we are going to put it here? I can put dummy account. Right? That should be all good. Now get contact record is done. Creating an account is done. Let's give that name as a create account instead of account. It will be clear. Okay, done. Now what is the next step after creating the contact account? The
Loop.
first one is scheduled is done. Get contact records are done. And then create a account is done. Now what is the next step?
Loop through each contact.
Loop through the each contact. Is everybody agree with that? Looping through the each contact, or do we have any other step?
No, ma'am, we have another step.
Sorry.
We have another step.
I could not hear you, Venkatesh.
we have to assign that record, one record, and that record assigned to loop.
At least can you type it? Maybe I could not hear. Somebody can translate it. Or can you type in the
First to create one record.
okay, so after creating the account, we have to loop through the each contact because we have to identify the each record. Now what are we doing this? Loop through okay. So Venkatesh is saying that first create one record and again store the record into the loop. Okay. So looping through contact record. Now what we will do is just write a simple instead of long API name, loop contact record. Okay. Now here we'll say we have a collection variable. From where it is coming, the collection variable?
From get contact records.
From get contact
Contacts from the
records.
get contact.
So where is the get contact records? Here is the get contact records. From get contact records, we are giving to the loop. Now what is the next step?
Update the contact record with dummy account.
Right, we have to update the contact record. Update the contact record. Now what are we updating here? Instead of update, what I can do is I can do one more thing. What we can do is before the update, we can also try with assignment. We can try with assignment. What is this assignment is basically which values that I wanted to assign to whom. Which values I wanted to assign to whom. Contact variables. Okay, here let's say contact dot account ID equals to which one do we have to give? Account ID from
Create account.
create a contact. Done. Now contact variable, or instead of contact variable, let me say assignment of variable. Assignment of variable. Let's done. Now once the assignment is done, then what we will do is we will just simply update it. Now here I'll say update record, update contact record. Now use the contact record $global, use the ID, all specific conditions. We want the specific conditions. Which object are we updating it? We are updating to the contact.
Yeah.
I can do simply account ID. One error. Fix the error. What is the error?
Empty string, right? So it is the condition. So account ID equals empty string,
This is empty
then
string.
only update.
And here we will update the account ID to the
Account ID from create account.
done. Let's save it first. Schedule trigger.
You can also directly use the update contact, right? Without the assignment variable.
Yes, we can do the update also. Assignment when it will come is when you have a more than 10 fields or more than one field is there. So that time it is better to go with the assignment and directly link directly here. So we can take use IDs and all the fields from the record collection. So better I'll take from the loop. So what will happen if I take from the loop? Let's see. Now I am going to try 3 of them. How to find a record to update to set their values. So what is the first one is use the contact $global. Set the field value from the directly contact. So it is going to try this. But here it says that use the IDs and all the fields values from the loop. So I'm going to get this from the loop. Let's done. Let's see what is going to happen. Save. It is giving warnings. Okay, this is the performance issue. So basically, schedule, we should not be using the get contact, but that should be fine. Click on run and not run. Click on debug. Debug, pause the element, run flow in rollback mode. So let's use rollback mode. So what happened? It executed, rollback. Perfect. But does it updated? Expand all. How the interview started? It started here, getting the records, create a record, find, loop through the contact record. It looped through almost how many records? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I think 9 records we have here also. We go to the contact, go to all records. How many records do we have? 9 records do we have. So it's looping through the correct records. Now this is the record account ID, right? Now assignment is done, record ID updates the record. All records whose ID is in the loop are ready to be updated. Now click on loop. Iteration 1, assignment is done. Then it is looping through the value. All records IDs are in the loop or ready to be updated when the next screen pauses. Okay, again it went to the second iteration 2. Assignment is executed, updated the read is executed. So this is fine. Now what I'll do is I'll change here. I'll delete this one, which I do not need it. So what we can do is current items from the loop contact. So does it update? I'm not giving here account ID. Okay, let's see what is updating here. And one more thing is that in case if anywhere it goes to the error, what we can do is we can add a fault, which is a fault path is nothing but if there is any error that happened during the getting the records or during the creation or during the update, if there are anything which has happened, then we can log in error. So what we can do is we can add some error here, but for today, let's use the fault here. Now save. Okay, that should be fine. Now click on debug. Now I do not want it to roll back. Let's see what happens. Debug pause element behavior. Click on run. Did it roll back? It did not roll back. How the interview stopped. Okay, it actually executed it. It will not update because we have not given the any ID. That's what is meant. Use the IDs and all the field values record collection or specific condition. Let's say specific condition. Contact here. The account ID equal to string. What is the value that I need to keep here?
Account ID from create account.
Create account. Done. Let's save. It's okay. Debug. I do not want to run in rollback mode. I just wanted to update it. So nothing went into the fault. Everything went into the straight and loop. Updated it. Let's go ahead and check. Here is the dummy accounts which are updated. Perfect. Now it is updated. So if you want, we can activate it. But right now this is a scheduled trigger. Scheduled trigger is if you want, if once it is activated and scheduled, where can we see what is it is scheduled here? We can go to the scheduled jobs.
How did we get the output before activating the flow?
Here scheduled trigger 1. So the one which we have activated right now is the scheduled trigger. So as soon as I activate it, we can see here when it is going to start. Next one is 8:14:12 a.m. So we need not to separately schedule it. As soon as I activate it, you can see the flow here.
Okay. So how come we are seeing the output before it is being activated?
Because I ran it, because when we ran, let me go back. Okay, let me delete few of them. Let's save. So 3 records are there. So what I was doing it. So we have a scheduled trigger. Okay. Open up. We can do it from the debug. So when we click on the debug for the scheduled flow, it will ask, do you want to roll back or do you want to commit it? When you say roll back, it will not commit the records. When you do not say, no, I do not want to roll back, I just wanted to commit it.
Okay.
Whatever is executed, I just wanted to commit into the database. So
it does the work like once we activated whatever it is going to do, so it will be done now itself.
Yes.
If we uncheck this check. Okay.
Yes. So in production, okay, sometimes what happens before scheduling it, we just wanted to run for the sum of the records, just for committing the data. Now what I'll do, I do not want to roll back anything. I want the flow should be working similar to the what when it is active, how the flow is working. Same way I wanted to activate it. So I'll click on run. So it got executed. So Samskar IT was not having the
Now it got updated.
okay. So now it is updated to the Samskar IT.
But this schedule will be scheduled only if we activate it, right?
Yes.
Otherwise, it doesn't get scheduled. Okay.
No. As soon as I deactivate it, it goes out from the here. Now I deactivated the flow. Okay. Right now you are able to see. If I refresh, it will go out.
Okay, but the values which already got updated now will stay like that.
Yeah. That will be
Okay.
set. That is already
Okay.
committed. That is
Okay.
already committed. There is nothing to do with the active, deactive.
Okay.
No need to do with the active and deactive. Anybody has any other questions? Schedule trigger. So what all we did, we created a schedule trigger. Criteria is contact.AccountId equal to null. We first got all the contact records. We created a dummy account. We created a dummy account, looping through all the contacts and then updating the contact record. Yeah. In case if you wanted to post in the charter, we have a charter box, right? So as soon as we go to the home page, we have a charter. Like if you go to the home page, so we have a charter here. Now I wanted to post something in the charter as soon as the scheduled is run. Let's open up the scheduled trigger. Now, let me add here. Let's say I wanted to add action. What is the action that I wanted is in the category. So we will see this charter one tomorrow. Just a second. Okay. So category all. Now what I'm doing it action is posting to the charter. So do I have anything? Yeah, post to the charter. Post to the charter. Now let's add some data here, label. Scheduled charter. Okay, what is the message that we wanted to give? You can give any message. Like, for example, let's say that message let's say scheduled flow has been completed. Targeted name ID, we can use the user ID. User ID. Targeted name is user ID. That's all. Experience cloud site, we do not need. Target type, we do not need. Visibility is not required. So this should be fine. Click on done. Schedule trigger. Save as version 2. Fine. Now let me go to the contact. Let's delete few of them. So right now this was on April 6th. Let me take out this. Let's save. So right now 3 records I have. Right now 3 records that I have. So now I'm going to run again. After updating, we have a scheduled charter, which is going to post it there. Let's try it whether it is working or not. Let's click on a debug. I wanted to commit. I do not want it to roll back. Let's click on it done. It executed. Now the first thing is that let's refresh. Contact is updated. Updated. Now let's go back to the charter. Refresh. So automated process. Scheduled flow has been completed. Scheduled flow has been completed. Scheduled flow has been completed. Why 3 times it is got? Because there were 3 records. It executed 3 times. Loop got executed 3 times. We have written the scheduled action in the loop. If we would have written the scheduled action outside of the loop, that means if I take out here and if I add it here, okay, action, post to charter. Post to charter label is charter post. Message scheduled trigger is completed. Now I wanted to have a user ID. Let's start. Now we are adding into the outside. One is inside. Inside one is scheduled flow has been completed. Outside one is, let's say, complete flow is completed, entire flow. I have a 2 post action, charter post. One is inside the loop, one is outside the loop. So right now, if I change the 2 records, I'm making the 2 records as empty. So what will happen if I try to execute this one? The inner one, the scheduled charter, scheduled flow has been completed, will post twice. Will post twice, whereas flow has completed entire flow is only one time we will get it, because each record it is going to post one charter after completing the each entire loop. That means after completing all the records, then we are going to post it is that completed the entire flow. Now let's say debug, run. Let's see the account. So it is updated it. Now let's see the charter post. Okay. So 2 times, this is a just now. This is 3 minutes ago. This is just now. Scheduled flow has been completed. Scheduled flow has been completed twice. And completed the entire flow, which is out of the loop. So that's the reason it posted only one time. Any questions?
Oh, ma'am.
Is it clear schedule trigger?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go to the assignment. Implement a flow to update the account lookup to update the value in account lookup of the opportunity. So what is that means? The opportunity, the one does not have the account lookup, you have to update the account lookup and post the charter. But you have to schedule it. You have to schedule it. Okay. Do not run in the debug mode. Schedule it. As per the schedule, it has to be updated. So it's kind of a implement a flow as well as schedule to update the value in the account lookup. Implement a flow and schedule to update the lead status. So what are the lead status that we have? Instead of lead status, let's go to the case. Let's open the case. Okay. So let's say that implement a flow schedule to update the case status working the one which were created in last month. So basically what I'm saying here is implement a flow and schedule it to update the status to working. Which case status? The one which are created in the last week. The one which is created in the last week. We wanted to, last month, we wanted to change the status from new to working. Is second one clear?
Yeah.
Everybody. Second one.
Yes, yes.
So if in case if you wanted to get the date, okay, I'll just give you the clue. Here, in case if you wanted to get a clue or if you wanted to know today's date, you have to use flow dot there is a flow dot current date. This is for today's date. In case if you wanted to get a date, flow dot current date. Now based on this, you identify, how can you identify the last month? So this is a hint that I have given. So like this, you have to identify the cases which are created in the last month. The cases which are created in the last month. So in last month, whatever the cases are created, we have to identify. Implement a flow to update the lead account ID, where account ID is null. Now this I need a debug part. This I need a debug part. Okay. For every lead, like whenever you are updating the account inside the loop, for every loop of lead record, post the charter with count. Like for example, you have a 2 records are there. So what should happen here in the charter? It should post it like scheduled flow has been completed -1. Scheduled flow has been completed -2. Okay, like that you have to mention it. This I need a debug part. Clear? So everything I gave an example here for each assignment, whatever I'll give, for that I already explained it, how to do it. Okay, there is a already explanation is there, how to do it. In the same class only I have explained it. From that only I'm giving the assignment. Okay, any questions? Tomorrow we do not have a class. We will meet on Tuesday, India time, Tuesday morning. India Monday morning we do not have. So before I stop, any questions?
No, ma'am.
So is everybody doing the assignment and the sheet which is there? Are you guys updating it?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'll be reviewing those. So please let me know. Like in case if you have not done any assignment, just try to complete it today, tomorrow, Monday. Then we can talk on Tuesday.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay then. Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you.